Hey, it's the Shazam spoiler review. I thought it'd be a little different and do the review from the site of Faucet Central. Hopefully they'll see Shazam or something. Is that a car? Gotta go. I'm safe. I really wanted to put the chill in Chillmonger, but I think it's better if I do the review from over here. So it's the spoilers. I loved this movie, enjoyed it very much. Shazam every time. Every time I saw him on screen, I was happy to see the guy on screen. But there were some flaws in the movie. There's a reason why, as you see, it's a 7 out of 10 and not this perfect movie. I talked about all the good things in my non-spoiler review, but to really critique it, I gotta get into it. Like those red lights coming from those demons, the Sin's eyes. It was like an LED kind of flashing on and flashing off. It didn't look very realistic. And when you do a comic book movie nowadays, you do gotta do some more realistic stuff. Like stuff like Shazam hitting his head on that subway. Yeah, it was funny right when he was getting out of the subway train. But he shouldn't have been, ow, it hurts very much. Because a minute later, he's surviving bullet shots to the forehead and everywhere, and it's not even phasing him. You see, for the sake of a joke, they would inconsistently make mistakes like that. Another big problem, for the sake of a joke, was when he and the villain, what was the villain's name? Dr. Savannah. They were up elevated on the city, and they were speaking to each other, but Shazam can't hear him because of the car and because of the wind. Well, at Philadelphia, when Shazam turned back into the young Billy and was hiding amongst the people, the doctor was up there speaking. They come out in the same little tone that he was doing over there up in the sky, but you could hear it at that when there was supposed to be a Ferris wheel happening, a lot of music, a lot of talking, but you could still hear Dr. Savannah's voice over all that. It's contradictory within its own self. There's problems with that. Maybe I'll do my contradictions from the beginning and move it to the end. So big problem was the car crash. The way that it angled after the car spun around and everything, okay, we got there. It was parallel with the road. And the other car that hit it from the side, and then it just disappeared. It wasn't anywhere to be seen. I didn't even hear it drive away. For the sake of a car crash, you really sacrificed a whole lot. This was a road with they were not at an intersection. There was nowhere that car possibly could have been going to. It just kind of hit them for no reason. Was there a mystical reason, magical purpose for why that happened that I'm not picking up on? Did the wizard want to kill him afterwards? I might be missing out, but I'm pretty sure that was just a mistake of the movie. Aesthetically, I didn't like a whole lot about this suit that Shazam was wearing. It was very sooty right up here, and then over there it got tight, and you can actually see him breathing here, but you could never see this chest piece moving. Actually, when he was looking upwards, when the bus was falling and he was about to catch it, the angle that they shot that part of the movie exposed that there was a big gap. It did not touch his skin, and it was just extra suiting. So he has said in the past, this suit is not padded. No, it's not padded, but it's molded to, it's bigger than he actually is, which is why the biceps are always like that. You don't really see it moving until the CGI moments when the dude is flying. Then you can actually see parts like it's connected, like this shirt is nice and tight on me. I didn't like how he looked. I didn't like how the wizard looked either with the fake hair. It wasn't for me. I didn't like his dialogue neither. It didn't work for me. I can't supply a reason for that. That's just subjective, and I didn't like it. But with the foster mom, there was a point, like her scripting was like a Japanese wrestler Asuka on SmackDown when she just speaks, but you know it's just words written for her to say. She would never say that. Something like, oh, this place is a real madhouse, is what she said when she was showing Billy upstairs, right when, I think his name is Pedro, the larger foster kid, said, hey, he didn't even say hi to him, which was funny. A lot of the jokes in this movie were funny. I can't think of any that were not funny. Santa Claus, he wasn't really funny, but everything else was great. Stuff like that, the scripting for the woman. I would say that Billy acted older than he was in Shazam. Whenever you saw Shazam up in there, Zachary Levi's character, he always acted like a 10-year-old. But Billy seemed kind of mature for her. So like the way that he handled his mom's situation, but it was just like, I'm gonna go back to my real family. That was very adult of him to say. He actually felt some sympathy for Darla. And when Darla grew up at the end, Megan Good acted like Darla, like a 6, 7-year-old, however old she is. That was cool. Everyone was consistent except for the Shazam character. Unfortunately, that's the main character. I didn't like him. He acted not like Billy Batson. The mass hysteria woman that was disintegrated as soon as she put her hand on that door. Her glasses survived. Well, why? She's wearing her glasses. She's also wearing clothes. The clothes didn't make it, but the glasses did. What? Just for the comedy's sake? Another part of the movie that sacrificed comedy, which wasn't even funny, for the sake of realism. A lot of the times when something would drop, when that bus dropped and he caught him, but the glass didn't shatter the windshield of the impact. There was a part where her name is Mary. She was crossing the street. Shazam sees it, zips, just picks her up and moves her. That's a lot of, and it just does. A human doesn't do that. They couldn't handle that pressure. When Dr. Savannah was falling down from the sky, and he caught him at the end of the movie by his neck over here, he just came to a sudden stop. A lot of coming to sudden stops ruined this movie and ruined the realism of it. Which, by the way, when Envy was being mocked on top of that building right before Savannah dropped, they were standing on top of the roof, and they slowly got up, and Zachary Levi was talking his trash, and finally when Envy left, Dr. Savannah should have just fell back on the roof, rather he fell on the edge of the roof. That's not how gravity works. But we saw how Shazam's power works. Shazam would say the word, lightning bolt would strike, and he transformed. Big problem with that for me was we only saw one time where you actually saw young Billy Batson walking, Shazam, and then Zachary Levi Shazam shows up. Every other time it was a wide shot of the gentleman's club, see the lightning bolt, and it is established that there is going to be a hole in the roof wherever you're at. When the dude was changing the light bulbs, foster dad was changing the light bulbs, it just Shazam, and you saw that the lights changed. So the thing is with that, because we established that a lightning bolt has to appear, it also is what got Envy at the end, which was cool. They just had to remember every other time that just Shazam happens in the middle of daylight, the dude Dr. Savannah was looking for the champion. He only found the champion when dude was on the news and that makes sense that the dude was on the news, and so he watched the news and said, oh, he just did an interview, I'm gonna show up, I found him. But if there's a lightning bolt happening every single time he turns to Jam, and there's a bazillion uploads on YouTube and many days have passed, him being Shazam, he could have found him out. The world's greatest detective could have found him out, and Superman would have sought him out if he wasn't off planet doing something. They won't even bother to explain that. I can explain away Superman, but for Batman to not be out here doing, or Flash or Aquaman, there's too many heroes. And Wonder Woman, she probably would have done something about Shazam just being a superhero and being ridiculous. Hey, you charging phones and causing buses to crash. You probably did some other stupid things before that. And I feel like if this is a connected universe and we're calling it that, then you can't just have the Batarang to serve its purpose but not include everything. There was a thing with the Batarang where someone threw it, and Savannah's, because all 7 of the sins were outside of him, Savannah's head was cut open, and it re-healed afterwards. And that's when Billy saw it, Shazam saw it, and said, whoa, he healed. I didn't like that the blood that dripped out of itself also disappeared. The wound should have disappeared, but the blood was exposed. That shouldn't have disappeared, in my opinion. And later on in the movie, Freddie Freeman, when he's Cohen, when he's actually his version of a Shazam, what would you call him? I'm not sure. They never even named him Shazam, really. No one really got a name in this movie. But when young Freddie Freeman becomes older Freddie Freeman, he says that, he can heal. But the thing was, only Shazam was looking at the back of his head. A lot of people were smart, like Mary was smarter than she actually was. She was talking about the sins and acting like she had all the answers when there's no way she would have known it. People were smart for the sake of the plot. And for the sake of the plot, things like a mugger would happen and he would take away the purse. Oh, how convenient. When they were in the store trying to get alcohol. Oh, look, a mugger, how convenient. You know what I mean? Twice was too much. Fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, fool me, you can't fool me again. Last thing I got here is when big Pedro dude was holding that Ferris wheel from falling. Oh, I got it. Oh, I got it. And he was holding on to it. Then a sin came over and he had to let go to handle him. That thing should have fallen over, but instead it took the sin to actually move it. Well, if he had it in place, he didn't need to actually stay there the whole time. It should have fallen as soon as he let go. It's things that I'm paying attention to. But other than how do you get from High Park to Base Station, in 5 minutes. There was really no other flaws with this movie. I liked it. I didn't know Megan Good was in it. I didn't know that the Shazam family was going to be in it. That was a fucking surprise and a half. I had no idea that some of these actors were cast for those roles. I could recognize, like, of the 5 of them, who did I know? I knew Megan Good, I knew the other dude from the OC, but I didn't recognize the other 3. The one who said Hadouken. I'm glad that paid off. That was really smart. He's playing video games, he knows his stuff, and he's using his electrical shock powers. They all had, from what I understand, all of 6 of them have the same power. But again, with the connected universe, there is no, man, there's about 6 Supermans, and then there's the actual Superman. But yeah, with the 6 superheroes now who are mega fast and ultra super speed, yo, everything about testing the powers was great and phenomenal. But I talked about that in my non-spoiler review from 2 weeks ago when I got to see that early screening. I want to add a couple more things to this movie. Now I think this video is long enough. The name on this channel is Chillmonger. You can click on that smiley face, which I just spun with my magical abilities. Watch this. I shall say the words and it'll disappear. Shazam. And again it'll reappear. Shazam. With videos for you to click on. Thank you for viewing my channel.